thank you so much for joining us once again on AVIXA TV. So with us today, we've got Sidney Rittenberg with Jupiter. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Jupiter's been creating large screen data and visualization experiences for over 40 years. In what ways are you seeing the 21:9 aspect ratio evolve?
It's eye-pleasing. It's our natural way of taking in visual information based on our human capacity. We see far more horizontal than we see vertical. And we started learning about the vertical format in first grade when we step into the classroom on an expansive blackboard where the teacher moved from left to right, and we learned about the world and the wonders that way. So, and it's how Hollywood films are made in the old-fashioned cinema scope, where we're going to theaters. We pay money to see that format. So it's far more natural way for us to utilize the visual real estate than the traditional 4x3 box that started the TV set, and then now the 16:9, the broadcast format, and we're going to 21:9, and I think that's a natural progression.
I would agree, Sidney, and it's interesting, right? You step out onto the floor, you see a lot of people trying 21:9, right? You see some displays out there, but you guys have been doing this for a long time. What are some of the ways that you guys specifically have helped evolve and drive that technology forward?
Yeah, so we created the 21:9 format with the upstream partners. And when we decided we were going to go into displays, we invented the image processors 41 years ago. And we decided we process the information on display. So it's natural for us we manage the information on them. So it's natural for us to progress into the display itself. And 21:9, we didn't want to do a one-off. And as you mentioned, we could go see there are some one-offs out there that copy a single dimension 21:9 in the midst of all the 16:9s that are all over the place. But we're dedicated. We're only 21:9. And to do that, you have to provide a full product lineup. You have to provide a solution, how to process 21:9, how to have it be compatible with all the existing enterprise setups out there. So we started working on the panels, the LCD panels in 21:9 format with the fab factories. What sizes is appropriate? It's economical. It's more attractive to the enterprise users. So we really give it a lot of thought in the development process. And this started long before anybody else had an understanding in 21:9. So.
And you said that it's economical, right? And our industry is really focusing on sustainability and the rise of green AV consciousness. So in what ways is Jupiter working to provide cost-effective and low-maintenance solutions for like mission-critical spaces?
Yeah, two different areas. One is green, you touched on, and the other one is economical in the sense of cutting the LCD panel is what I meant. How can you produce enough volume to really make it attractive? Instead of just a one-off, we sell it for 5 days. If it doesn't sell well, we have to go back to the 16:9 TVs. But as I said, we are really serious about 21:9. We're dedicated to 21:9. We go from the desktop to the large LCD panel offerings to now we're bringing out micro LED direct views, all in 21:9 expansion. So from small to large. On the green side, there's the economy of scale that we are hoping that we can help the whole industry grow into, to make it more and more economical, to change this format that we're so used to for the past 20, 30 years. On the green part, we definitely put into, since day one, green considerations in making sure manufacturing process is in line with our requirement, making sure the packaging process, the packaging materials that go into our product are all have a green consciousness, still being economically manageable. So we do have a lot of that built into our product.
Well, Sidney, let's talk about resolution for a second, especially when you think about 21 by 9 in applications like conferencing and collaboration, right? A lot of times when we're having video meetings, there's like 30 pixels allotted to someone's face, right? But obviously, as you continue to innovate in the space, what are some of the ways that you're driving resolution improvements, whether that's 5K, whether that's 8K, or even more down the road?
Yeah, that's a great point, because we make image processing. So driving 5K versus 4K is a little challenging, especially a lot of the driver boards. The processors don't do 5K. They do 4K and they can go up to 8K. But 5K is a unique format, 21 by 9. As far as enterprise use, it's far more natural for enterprise users because we deal with desktops, as in the computer desktops. We don't deal with broadcast streaming, which is embedded 16 by 9. So when you deal in a conference room, in an executive office, you deal with computer desktops. And desktops can manage different formats. So you bring up windows, however big, however small, however expensive you have, and multiple views on a 21 by 9 canvas is ideal. Because that's why we figure enterprise users is the first adapters, should be the first adapters to 21 by 9.
And from a messaging standpoint, we know digital signage is everywhere, right? And content is king. And how can users use, your solutions to really make sure that their messaging is coming across with various aspect ratios with the 21 by 9? So, because you really want to make sure that whichever digital signage platform that you're using is getting that messaging out there the right way.
Yeah, digital signage. So 4K, we're adding pixels. We're not stretching images. If you go from 4K to a 21 by 9, you're literally stretching an image to make it more squeezed. But we're adding pixels. We're adding physical visual space into a display. So you have added space for information. You have added space for corporate messaging, for corporate signage. We deal with some of the top video conferencing platforms. So video conferencing platforms can certainly utilize more added space on the display for information, for chats during a video conference, for annotation, for file sharing. That's all a super welcome to an enterprise environment as far as signage and information processing is concerned.
Well, Sidney, when you think about the end user experience, right, at the end of the day, every AV company wants to provide a valuable experience for the end user. How have you seen the adoption of things like widescreen displays, even at a much smaller scale in an end user environment? How have you seen that drive adoption at the larger scale?
Yeah, super question. On the interactive side, that's what enterprises use. Interactive panels, you have touch functionality built into it. The screens are getting bigger and bigger. So when you get into larger screens, above 75 inch, you go into 85, 86 inch, or 98 inch these days. Imagine going up to a display and do the touch feature and the touch functionality of it. A short person touching the top, a tall person touching the bottom. It's not attractive. It's not pleasant, especially if you have a group of people in front of you, back facing. So 21 by 9 eliminates that unpleasantry. It allows you to naturally handle the entire height of the display, expanded display. That's one thing. And two is when you get into large panels, logistics is starting to get into a challenging negative factor. Handling a large display, we have 105-inch LCD glass, and we're bringing additional sizes too. We have 81, we're bringing additional sizes to the mix. But imagine carrying that into an elevator in an office building, going through the doorways. For 86-inch, that's already very challenging. Yep. If you go anything bigger, it's humanly impossible. You have to use machines to carry that. Our 21 by 9 can handle that. It gives you a giant visual canvas, and it can go into existing environments.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this information with us. We really appreciate your time here. So thank you
Sure,
again,
thank
Sidney.
you. Pleasure.
Well,